So now when you're solving percent applications, you just apply the principles that we learned in last lesson. And the first thing you have to make sure you do is that you label your percents. Obviously, the percent is on the right side, 100 is the bottom, and that's always the base. In this case, we want to know how many were returned. Okay, 66 were sent out, 52 were returned. So we're going to cross multiply and divide. So on our calculator, we would press 100 times 52 divided by 66, and we get 78.7%. Round to the nearest percent is 79%. Next one is slightly different. In this case, we have the base, okay, is 100%. We want to know how many were sent out. Oops, sent out is the base. Just wait. How many were sent out? We know how many were returned was 57. This is 70%. It says it right there. So now when we cross multiply and divide, cross multiply and divide, on our calculator we would press 57 times 100 divided by 70, and we would get 81.4. It said round to the nearest whole number would be 81. Next one. Now they want to know percent solution. Okay, so we've got percent. We've got 53 grams of cobalt in how many grams of solution? The solution always goes on the bottom, and in this case it's 89 grams. So when we cross multiply and divide, we're going to press 100 times 53 divided by 89, and we get 59.5. Rounded to the nearest whole number would be 60%. Okay. Next one, 52% of the blood is made of a certain chemical. And then blood is the base. 100 is the percent. 52 is the percent. We're looking for gallons of chemical in 61 gallons of blood. Cross multiply and divide. So we would press 61 times 52 divided by 100, and we get 31.7. Rounded to the nearest whole number would be 32. 81% of the people who contract a certain disease die. So we've got the death, and then we've got the base. 100 is the base, 81% die. That's a high percentage. How many die if 89 get the disease? Well, cross multiply and divide. 89 times 81 divided by 100 is about 72, rounded to the nearest whole number. Next one. How many patients are hospitalized more than 4 days if 65.12% of the patients, here's the patients, and here's the more than 4 days. We want to know how many of the 86, I see the number after the of is almost always the base. So cross multiply and divide. (86) times 65.12 divided by 100 is 56 patients. And then the next one, 57.89% of the people in the hospital are nurses. So here's the base is the total. Here's the number of nurses. How many nurses are there if there are 57 workers in the hospital? So we would take 57 times 57.89 divided by 100, and we get about 33 people that are nurses. Okay, last three. Midtown Antiques collects 6.5% sales tax on all sales. If the total sales including tax is $74, find the amount of the tax. Well, the tax is the base. That's 100%. Now, this problem is actually a percent increase problem. Since we're doing those next, we might as well figure it out now. The total is the base plus the tax, which in this case would be 106.5%. Why? Because you add the 6.5% onto the base to get the total. If the total, including sales tax, is $74.58, find the amount of tax. Well, we can find the amount of total here. Okay, let's see what we would get. 74.58 times 100 divided by 106.5 is 70.03. And then if you would subtract that from 74.58, you would get $4.55. Store department has 1,900 square feet in lumber, 1,800 square feet in paint, and 1,900 square feet in tools. How much of the total expenses, so the total is the base, 73,000 is the base. How much, so here's the square feet on this side, and we want to know how much should be in paint. Oops, dollars, this side is. Okay, so the paint square footage is 18. Now, we don't know the base, but we can add these three together. 19 plus 1,900 plus 1,900 plus 1,800. So when we cross multiply and divide this one, cross multiply and divide, I'm going to write it as a fraction, okay, so that you can see what I'm doing here. Cross multiply is the numerator of the fraction, 73,000 times 1,800, and that's over the 1,900 plus the 1,900 plus the 1,800. Oops, 1,800. And so the amount that's based on paint would be $23,464.29. You can do the same thing with this one here. This is number of employees. Okay, so we've got employees and dollars. And we've got $19,000 in expenses. That's the base. We want to know how much should be allocated for shoes. Well, shoes employees is 2,000, but the total employees is 2,000 plus 1,700 plus 1,400. So we're going to set up the same thing in our fraction. $19,000 times 2,000, and then we're dividing by the total number of employees, 2,000 plus 1,700 plus 1,400. And we get $7,450.98. So this is how you do percent problems.